Hi, I'm Ignacio Fernandez Llorente, professional polo umpire. Welcome to Polo In. In this video, we will learn how to mark an opponent. First of all, you can hook his mallet. In the majority of cases, when you hook the mallet of your opponent, none of the two players gets to play the ball. In this example, the blue player hooks the mallet of his opponent and remains with the ball in his possession. Result 1-0 for the blue player. In this other example, the red player hooks the mallet of his opponent. None of them gets to play the ball, but another red player coming behind can hit a back shot. The second way of defending is by pushing the opponent's player, either moving him or riding him off. When you move an opponent, you prevent him hitting the ball, though none of the two players remains with the ball. In this precise example, you can see the teammate of the white player coming behind and taking the ball. So for the white team, it's a positive result. Here the black player goes and rides off his opponent with a neutral result for him, but very positive for his team because a teammate comes on behind and takes the ball. In this other example, look at the grey player. He rides off his opponent with a positive result for the team. Here is another example on how two players try to ride off each other. They try to displace their opponent to get to the ball and play the ball. Look at the color player here, riding off the grey player and playing a backhander. Positive result for him and for the team. This is the safest way to win the ball. First, take care of the man and then take care of the ball. Always remember this sentence when you play polo. Here is another example. Riding off the opponent and then hitting a backhander. Here again, the black player rides off his opponent and then hits a backhander. The white player is out of the game, even if the black player misses his shot. His position would be too wide. Another example where the red player rides off his opponent and hits a backhander. Here the grey player rides off the red player, hits a backhander, while the red player slows down his horse. By chance, the ball hits the red player's horse and he is left with the ball. When you ride off an opponent and hit a backhander, it is safer to continue to mark and push your opponent. Here the blue player loses the ball, slows down and gets the ball back after a missed backhander. So once again, it is safer to hit a backhand while you ride off your opponent. And if your opponent slows down, you have to slow down to keep riding him off. Let us see now here the grey player riding off the blue player and hitting a backhand. Positive for the grey players because the blue player was running for goal. Here the light blue player hooks the mallet and then hits a back shot. Positive result for the light blue player. Here the blue player wins the ball, hits a backhand, but then he has a lot of pressure because if he misses now his backhand, there are three grey players just behind him. Here again, with is a risk of hitting a backhand without riding off. He ends up by losing the ball and the blue opponent gets to play the ball. Let us see this other example. The blue player hits a back shot and wins the ball over two white opponents. Here again, the blue player hits a back shot. The blue player hits a backhander and takes out two grey opponents. If he had drew the play, the team would have been disadvantaged because the other grey player could have continued with the ball. There is a 2-0 result for the blue player. There are rare cases like this one where one has to go directly to the ball because a draw for the player means a loss for the team. One can ride off and hook the mallet at the same time while defending, like in this example, where two black players are marking the white player, with a positive result for the black team ending up with ball possession. I want you now to concentrate on the position of the player, on the position of the defending player. Here the blue player is waiting for the red player. He pushes him. This is the way to mark an opponent. Stay close to him. Don't cross his line. Stay just a little bit in front of him. If the red player accelerates, the blue player accelerates. And be patient. Stay close to your opponent. Never put yourself parallel to the opponent. You have to stay close to him and push him a little bit. Go as close as possible to your opponent as you can. Never cross his line and push him in order to make it difficult for him to play the ball. And most of all, keep the same speed as your opponent. Here the black player is parallel to the opponent. This is a mistake. It's useless. And if your opponent is very fast, wait for him a little bit more in front of him. Look at the light blue player here. He's very far from his opponent. And this is useless. He's not marking him. Look now at the light blue player, how he marks the red opponent. He is close to him and he closes him towards the side. The red player has difficulties playing the ball and getting to the ball. He goes at the same speed as his opponent and he doesn't let him escape. Here the red number 2 waits for his opponent and then closes him and pushes him, not letting him hit the ball as he wishes. Here the light blue player has the ball. The red number 2 tries to ride him off and push him, and the other red player is just looking. He could be hooking the mallet, for example, or hit a backhand. One of the most important parts of defending is not letting your opponent hit the ball as he wants. Often, after a bad shot from your opponent, you gain the ball. Let us see now how you mark a rival coming from behind. The first and most important thing is get on the line of the ball. This won't allow your opponent to turn around. If he turns around, it's a foul. He has either to hit a backhand or continue to go forward toward his goal. If he turns around, it's definitely a foul, like in this case. Here the white player, who could get on the line of the ball, slows down instead of accelerating. You have to go as soon as possible on the line of the ball and accelerate. You have to be decided. The other white player comes large, result, the grey player turns around by the left, result, 2-0 for the grey player who keeps the ball. Here the grey player is parallel to the yellow player. How do I solve it? By hooking the mallet or by riding off the other player? The most important thing is not to commit a foul. The most important thing is to be patient. and not to commit a foul. The right moment to make an intervention will come. Don't get nervous. Here the ball comes from the sideboards. The yellow player gets on the line of the ball and is just waiting for the white player to commit a foul, which he does by turning around. Here the white player marks the grey player who misses his shot. Positive result for the white team. Here the green player pressures the white player and obliges him to play a backhand. The blue player gets on the line of the ball and obliges the green player to hit a backhand. This is the way you mark a player in polo. Pressure him. Don't let him turn around. Don't let him hit the ball as he wants. Especially if you're playing against a strong opponent, don't let him turn around. It's not the same whether you let him hit a backhand or let him turn and go towards your goal. Look here at the two light blue players trying to mark the opponent too late, and they are too far. This is useless. Look at the black player here protecting his teammate who can easily turn around, not mark. It is much easier to hit a ball as you want when you have one of your teammates protecting you. The easiest way to gain advantage for an attacking player is to accelerate and overtake your opponent. Here the grey and the blue player try to ride themselves off. In the first play, the grey player wins the ball, but the blue player continues to mark him and to try to ride him off and push him, and he ends up getting the ball. Though he misses his backhand, and the blue player gets to have the ball again. He tries to escape, but the blue player continues to mark him and tries to ride him off and ends up hitting a backhand. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.